Hello everybody, welcome back to Same Spirit Gaming. My name is Matt.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're back with more ScourgeBringer. Because eventually I vowed to beat this game all the way through. Oh hey, look at that. Peppy, our favorite guy.
That is awesome.
Okay, so we've got a machine gun with a phasing mod attached to it.
Nice.
Not sure what that phasing mod does. Increased sword damage. Increased bullet damage. Or gun damage, whatever. Increased damage to stunned enemies. +2 max HP.
See, I said at the end of the last episode, this was the one. It's looking good.
Well, that's a good start to it anyway. Alrighty. That was an easy room. What's over here? Oh.
Nice.
Further increase the max HP?
It would bring you back to the default 10 health. Maybe it's a good idea.
Going for it. Hopefully I'll pick up some health items. Alright, which way am I supposed to go there? Looks like down and to the left.
Yeah.
Increases fury recharge. No, thank you. Alright. Took 1 damage from that guy, but I got it right back.
Sweet.
Alright, so I'm supposed to go left, but I can't go directly left. Gotta go up first to go left.
Okay.
Okay. And I guess I keep going left for now. What I really need to get better at is, like, prioritizing certain enemy types that are generally more dangerous.
Yeah. Like those dang laser guys in the second area. Those are horrible.
Okay, maybe now I can go down. And mini-boss. Nope. Didn't do that right.
But you didn't get hurt. Well, I shouldn't have
Alright.
spoke too soon.
I'm kind of messing things up. I need to maybe focus a little better. Okay. That dude's down.
That was quick.
No need to reload. So now where is it going to take me? Probably... it looks like up and left. Also still looking for an altar of blood, though.
Yeah. That always helps a lot.
Okay. Continuing left. There's the boss room. Would like to find the altar of blood first, though.
Yeah.
So let me go back here. Okay. And I guess I'll go up some more. Some other
there we
special
go.
room. Actually, a couple of special rooms connected to this one.
Yeah, I think the one on the left, if I remember. Is simple.
Yeah, up is probably just a shop.
Yeah.
There we go, altar of blood.
Woo!
What do we have? Floor is lava. For each enemy killed while not touching the ground, Kyra gets plus 10% sword damage. When on max HP, all damages are increased. Reveals every shop's position on the map. But the shops? I don't really use that much.
These are not great.
Yeah, I mean, the max HP one would be nice. I kind of get a feeling, though, that, like, this one... Because it's each enemy gets plus 10%.
But
I'm going to give that a shot.
Yeah. But then it resets if you touch the ground, I guess.
Yeah. So it would be helpful, like, room to room. But that's about it.
I guess it could be useful. Not for bosses, but...
Yeah, speaking of which, back to the boss, I guess.
Yeah.
Alrighty, here we go. Could have timed that a little bit better so as to not get hit by any of that stuff, but whatever.
Nice. His big bullets just do so much.
Oh, I was gonna try and reflect that one to him, but didn't quite work.
Nice.
Alright. More damage to stunned enemies. Reloads the gun. Increased fury recharge, which I didn't even use. Tell you what, maybe while I go to the other rooms within this area, we can do verse of the day.
Yeah. Sure. Sounds good. Man, I went back and forth on which passage to go to read today, but I think I'm going to go on one that I wasn't going to read because it could be interesting. It's something we haven't really talked about before. So, okay. I'll read the passage and then just start talking about it. So this is from 1 Kings chapter 11. I'm gonna read verse let's see. Yeah, I'll read from verse 3 until 8. But first I want to give some context because this is kind of part of a Bible, part of the Old Testament we haven't really talked about that much. So here's some context. King David has ruled over Israel for, I forgot, what was it, 40 years? And
by the way,
died.
I'm pausing the game now because
okay.
I made it to the next area.
Okay. He has given the kingdom to King Solomon, who was given the gift of wisdom from God and became the wisest person in the entire planet. However, eventually he kind of turns away from the Lord God. And the reason is because, to put it shortly, women. So he married the Pharaoh's daughter from Egypt, which already is kind of like, yeah, I don't know, man. But then I'll just read from verse 3. He had 700 wives of royal birth and 300 concubines, and his wives led him astray. As Solomon grew old, his wives turned his heart after other gods, and his heart was not fully devoted to the Lord his God, as the heart of David his father had been. He followed Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and Molech, the detestable god of the Ammonites. So Solomon did evil in the eyes of the Lord. He did not follow the Lord completely as David his father had done. On a hill east of Jerusalem, Solomon built a high place for Chemosh, the detestable god of Moab, and for Molech, the detestable god of the Ammonites. He did the same for all his foreign wives who burned incense and offered sacrifices to their gods. So, yeah, not good at all.
Yeah. Not a good look on Solomon there.
No. He was very wise and did a lot of good things, but yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, I don't even know 1,000 people, and he has 700 wives and 300 concubines. I mean, how do you even know all of those names of these women? Anyway, that's beside the point. I just, like, I could not remember the names of 1,000 people, but...
Yeah. Just further hitting home the point of how bad an idea that was.
Yeah. So yeah, not only did he kind of follow some of these gods, he actually built shrines for them in Israel, near Jerusalem. So really, really bad. And the reason I wanted to talk about this specifically was because it mentions the detestable god Molech. And if you want to know who Molech was, this was a pretty bad ritual by pagans, that what they did to worship Molech. And this kind of almost makes me want to ask the question, did Solomon do this ritual? Because the only time Molech's brought up is when the pagans would sacrifice babies and children to Molech by this horrible ritual where they were placed in the hands of stone, and basically they would die by fiery heat. Very, very terrible. But I mean, this specifically says, he built a high place for Chemosh, the detestable god of Moab, and Molech, the detestable god of the Ammonites. He did the same for all the foreign wives who burned incense and offered sacrifices to their gods. So it doesn't explicitly say, and I really hope he did not offer a sacrifice to Molech, but because that's what they did for the god Molech. Yeah, really, really terrible. The idea was that, at least for the pagans, the more precious and innocent a sacrifice was, the more favor they would gain from this god, who, in all honesty, was probably just an actual demon based on this stuff. But also, apparently, worship of Molech wasn't even limited to the Ammonites. There's similar gods with different names and forms, but very similar rituals that include the Canaanites and Phoenicians as well. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting, weird, and bad stuff in, like, Judges and Kings, but I just, like, if you don't know who Molech is, it's, like, pretty much the worst thing you can imagine. And Solomon, unfortunately, turned away from the one true God. Yeah. And then Solomon's son actually breaks the kingdom, but that's a story for another time. I was not fully able to watch what is happening, but it looks like you're doing okay.
Just a lot of stuff going on the screen. Yeah, I got the, I defeated, like, the mini-boss. Now I'm just trying to find a,
the boss room.
Trying to find an altar of blood before the boss room.
Oh, yeah. That would be awesome if you get full health. Come on.
Okay, you know what? Oh, phooey. Nope, darn.
Dang.
The lasers. It's the lasers again.
Yeah, it's always the lasers.
Well, I don't have anywhere near enough Judge Blood for the Dragon Punch. I still need another 11.
Halfway there. Almost halfway there.
Alright, speedrun, I guess.
Yeah, let's jump back in.
And this is not even going to be a speed run in that I'm like intentionally trying to get to certain rooms in a certain order. This is just going to be, alright, I'm picking a direction real quick, not even thinking about it, just go.
Yeah, it would be nice if you could tell the little robot to aim specifically at something. But no.
Okay, there we go. Mini boss defeated.
Nice.
Boom. Okay. Don't need the
Nice,
reload,
it's
but I'll
always
definitely
good.
take the extra sword damage. Okay. I will say that, so, I was thinking a little bit about Solomon doing all that stuff, and
Yeah.
other people in the Old Testament doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
It just really makes me wonder about, like, all that relative to the standards we have today
Yeah.
for ourselves. Ooh, Bear Spirit, that's a good one.
Ooh.
And it's just like almost makes me wonder sometimes, like, are we being too harsh on ourselves? But I mean, Jesus did also demand, or he did also say that we should, you know, basically live up to a higher standard. Like, you know,
Yes.
things like if you even so much as look at a woman with lust in your heart, you've already committed adultery with her. Yeah, with lust in your eyes, you've already committed adultery with her in your heart.
Yeah. Which, honestly, that is one I struggle with for sure, as I'm sure a lot of men do.
Yeah, to the
Unfortunately.
point where, I mean, I'm not saying that our typical understanding of it is inherently wrong, but I do wonder a little bit, like, okay, was there perhaps just maybe a slightly different understanding of the word lust in that context?
Yeah.
But that's a discussion for a different time. Not trying to open up that can of worms right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
But in any case, my point that I was getting at is, yes, there is a higher standard for us, and, like, all the bad things that happened in the Old Testament are a big part of the reason why.
Yes.
Because it's clear that that was not the way they should have done things.
Yeah. Well, and I think in, I don't know if it's Hebrews. I think it is Hebrews, where it talks about how the people weren't ready back then. It was like I think they compare it to getting your sustenance from milk instead of solid food.
Yeah.
And so now we're, as a kind of like as a human race, we're able to sustain ourselves on solid food because we've grown. Yeah, and because back in those days, I mean, outside of the people of Israel and the Jewish religion, it was like, you know, not just eye for an eye, but like eye for a life. You know, people were brutal back then. You know,
Yeah.
you steal something from me, I'm gonna go kill you and your family. And so it was really about setting rules for a society. Like, no, you can't just do whatever you want and let your anger take over your actions. And in many societies back, or I should say probably all of them, almost all of them, women were also just not, they were almost just not viewed as people at all. And so if you look back at a lot of the rules set up in Leviticus and Deuteronomy, which, hey, by the way, our good friend Matt here did some videos on those you can go check out on his individual channel. The rules that they set up in those books, although they seem outdated to us, and which is why we don't follow them anymore, for the people back then, it was almost like revolutionary. Like, for example, if a husband suspects that his wife has cheated on him, he can't just divorce her. Like, that was a lot of cultures back then. It was just like the husband can do whatever he wants. Like, you like, the woman was basically property. But there's an entire process and ceremony for if the husband suspects cheating or is even jealous or whatever.
Yeah.
Which was revolutionary at the time.
And, you know, I had a thought about this somewhat recently. Sorry. Notice the bullet bending choice from the Altar of Blood here. After successfully deflecting bullets. So,
that's good.
like a bunch of those times when I would get hit by trying to deflect stuff from the bodybuilder, I maybe wouldn't get hurt anymore. Or there's the increased damage for every blood. But, you know what? I like this bullet bending idea.
That's pretty nice.
Anyway, so I had this thought kind of recently regarding, you know, Old Testament seeming very strict and rigid versus New Testament, even though actually, you know, the standard and the expectation is kind of higher in the New Testament when you think about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, really, at least generally speaking, when raising children, from what I've seen and heard and learned from others, not that I have this personal experience, but, you know, generally early on in a child's life, you lean more towards being very rules-oriented and almost legalistic in saying, all right, do this, don't do that, this is bad, this is good, and a lot of other things to that effect.
Yeah.
But then as they get older, you maybe kind of say, all right, you've grown, you've matured a little bit, you're hopefully better able to understand some nuances in some things, and so now, maybe where there wasn't detail and nuance before and it seemed more strict and rigid, there's now going to be a bit of leniency and added nuance to it.
Yeah.
Similar, I would say, is Old Testament compared with New, because of things like, I think you even just stated that it was like, you know, according to Hebrews, they weren't really ready. They weren't mature enough.
Yeah. I think even Jesus might have even said that at one point, but I can't remember exactly where. Yeah. There are things you don't understand as a child, and when you become an adult or sometimes teenager, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense now. Yeah. And then you grow up and you keep growing.
I keep getting stuff like, well, I also keep getting close to dying. But then I get stuff and it's like, well, okay, maybe I'm not done for yet.
Yeah, you keep getting items, but none of them are...
None of them are healing items.
Yeah, oh, another one.
You know what, just for funsies.
Yeah, nice.
Plus,
Should
they got rid of
recharge
the laser
people.
dude for me.
Yeah.
Ouch. I may very well end up dying in this room anyway. Okay, maybe not in this room.
That was close.
Ah, hello. More sword damage, okay.
Oops.
Another shop kind of thing. Eh.
1 HP.
Yeah, I know.
uh,
And reloads the gun, which I don't really need.
yeah.
Immediately proceeds to use the gun. And apparently waste a bunch of the ammo, because it was trying to target something that was, like, off in the distance. Or, like, I was up on the platform here, and it was trying to target something that was down lower. Not at the same level. Oh, good grief, challenge room.
Oh my gosh.
Well, here I go. Challenging myself.
Super challenging. Wow, that's a lot of bullets.
And now I've got Fury ready to go.
Nice. Oh man. Oh, I thought that was the last one.
Ah, crud. I didn't quite hit
Dang.
the smash in time. Alright.
Too bad.
Yeah, that bear thing from Altar of Blood is really good.
Yeah. I think you would have cleared it if you had that.
Well, no, I think I had that this time.
Oh, okay, okay.
Alright, well, 5 more Judge Blood away from the Dragon Punch.
We can do it next time. We'll get the Dragon Punch. And gonna be Dragon Punching everything.
But I guess that does it for now.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks for watching, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.